These units got massive nerfs. Some OP units got nerfed. Make sure you watch to the end to find out who.
This unit kind of inspired this video. Oden. This guy started off as a 6-star, and what they did to him was they took away his final upgrade. He tops out at only 56,000 damage. Before that, he was doing in the millions. Next up, we have another 6-star Megumin, but they kind of did her dirty. All right, so if we take a look at this upgrade right here, Explosion, what you're going to notice is the cooldown on this is so long. For the nerf, the cooldown was super short and you could really spam her. Next up, we have Gone. Now, they really did this guy dirty. They actually nerfed his damage by about 10%. And how they did that was now they made the Gone orb not work on him. So you have to use like the Fire Rage orb or the Blue Eye orb. And so he's only doing about 1 million damage instead of before where he's got up to like, what, 30 million damage with the buff. Next up, we have one that not a lot of people remember, but back for about an hour, Annie had an ability. Now, this ability was actually kind of broken, so that's why they removed it, but basically allowed you to time stop the enemies almost infinitely, allowing you to reach pretty much infinite waves, except for like the wave skip thingy where that comes up there sometimes when there's too many enemies on the field. But now she's just a dog water or average unit. Next up, yo, I know a lot of you guys were waiting for this one. We have the one and only #1 waifu in All-Star Tower Defense, Speedwagon. You may be like, wait, what? They nerfed Speedwagon? And the answer is yes. Now, this nerf doesn't really apply to infinite mode. It was mainly a nerf in raid mode and story mode, but this was what the nerf is. All right, so we upgraded it. You're going to notice the cash is actually the same, but the nerf was actually pretty big. So the nerf is this right here. You can no longer sell the unit. All right, so basically, yeah, it just says this little notification up there, can't sell the unit. So basically what this means is you're going to lose out on whatever money you put into him in story mode. Basically sometimes costs you like $50,000 or even more. All right, now let's go take it to an OG nerf, guys. A lot of you guys don't remember, but Killua, his 5-star, not the 6-star, actually used to be a meta unit. He is still meta today, but back in the day, he was meta for his damage. Now this one, his damage kind of sucks, but basically what the nerf was a long time ago, they made the 5-star version of him do a little bit less damage. So that it's just a small little nerf, but let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have Gilgamesh 6-star or King of Heroes. The nerf for him was basically before the Fire Rage orb applied to him, making his damage freaking insane. Like on his upgrade, he used to be like, what, 30 million? And once you put the Fire Rage orb on him, it was like 60 million. It was freaking insane, guys. But unfortunately now you could still use the Fire Orb. It just doesn't buff his damage 100%. It's more like 20%. All right, next up we have Ultra Koku Black. Now this guy's nerf was a lot like Gone. So basically, I don't know if it was a glitch or if it was intended, but the Rose orb used to work on him, okay? And the thing was, if you look at that, it's doing way more damage than it was supposed to do, especially on the upgrade. You see that upgrade damage right there, guys? For what, 2,000%? Yeah, let's just say that made this guy a very OP unit. All right, next up we have Flaming Tiger. Now this actually applies to his 5-star. So basically the 5-star used to be AoE, but now they made the 5-star a single target, okay? So that was the nerf on Rengoku. All right, next up we have the nerf on Sabo. Now Sabo's nerf wasn't that big of a deal. Basically what his nerf was they increased the starting cost to 550. It used to be 500. So not the biggest deal in the world, but kind of annoying. Next up, we have the Star Pass. So basically, they made the Star Passes that you got from Banner Z right here no longer tradable. So that's actually a pretty... Wait, what happened to Sabo's hair? What the heck is even that? All right, anyways, next up, we have Zoro. Now, this actually happens to Zoro 5-star. Back in the day, they upgraded his costs like they did to Sabo. But they actually nerfed the 6-star too. For the 6-star nerf, they basically decreased his range and increased his SPA so he attacks slower. Like, they legit nerfed this guy. That was pretty insane. All right, next up, we have a unit I don't actually have on me, but we have Brook 6-star. He used to have an ability. However, due to some Roblox thing where the Roblox removed music, they actually ended up making it so his ability doesn't really work anymore. So unfortunate, and plus his ability kind of sucked. So basically, they made Brook a just completely dog water unit. Next up, we have a Zoro. Now, Zoro's nerf only happened a couple minutes or like a few hours after release. Basically, he was an OP unit back in the day. Like, he was legit leaderboard meta. Basically, they added a bleed attack, or they gave him bleed / burn, one of those two. I don't remember which one exactly. I couldn't find an example. Basically, and 8,000 damage used to be a lot of damage back in the day. So they ended up removing his burn / bleed, though, and he basically fell into obscurity. We're still hoping for a Zoro 6-star soon. Next up, we have Usopp. Now, Usopp's nerf was kind of weird. I believe they upped his cost to like 400, and they also decreased his damage. It used to be a lot higher than 70, but they also decreased that. We're not really sure why, but yeah, they ended up nerfing this 3-star. It used to be 2 OP, which was kind of insane. Next up, we have Natsu half, or Natsu 5-star. Now, his nerf was massive. He used to be a story mode meta unit. Now, what they did to this poor boy is they made his deployment cost 1,000. So basically meaning you couldn't start with him. His deployment cost used to be 500. Now, the funny thing is he sucks so bad, they should just honestly like revert the nerf. Like, come on, man. They're really doing him dirty. Like, look at that, guys. 450 damage. Seriously. Next up, we have 24k Golden. Now, he was actually in the banner as a glitch. And what happened with him was his cost used to be $1. And his damage was freaking insane. Like, it was like in the millions. I think he was as good as Megumin or something. Like, they put him out in the game as a Megumin reskin or something. He was freaking insane, dude. But unfortunately, they upped his cost again. So now he's no longer meta. But it was really funny for a while. Next up, we have Broly. Now, what they did to Broly was they increased his total cost. All right. What they did was they gave him an orb, but they buffed this ability. But now it costs 5,000, which was used to be kind of expensive for infinite mode, but now it's not. But yeah, so they nerfed him a little bit by upping his cost. And back in the day, that was a pretty massive nerf. Basically meaning you couldn't take full advantage of his gaining extra damage ability. So yeah, RIP Broly. Now, we're hoping we get a Broly 6-star soon, though, so we'll see. Now, Dio's nerf was a bit of a weird one. So this is Dio 4-star. Now, originally, he was a hill unit, but they actually nerfed him and turned him into a ground unit instead. So not entirely sure. I don't remember why they did that, but they did that. Next up, we have Tony Stark. Now, funny enough, Coyote is actually meta in Anime Adventures, but what they did to this poor boy was they increased his total cost. This was a long time ago, though. This was like way back in the day, and now he's kind of doo-doo, even with his orb. So hopefully they buff him soon, because he used to be meta back in the day, or really, really good. They did the same thing to Fujitora, upping his total cost. And again, he's kind of sucks nowadays, so even with his orb. So hopefully they rebuff this guy, because, man, they kind of did him dirty. All right, next up, we have Red Servant. Now, this one is kind of not exactly a buff, so I'm putting it, a nerf. So I'm putting it in the sorta category. Basically, what happened to him was his ability was bugged, and so they turned it into basically a reskin of Funny Valentine's ability, okay? So, yeah. So, Sword Blocker used to, like, be more like Dio's, and instead, they turned it into more like Funny Valentine's. This one was suggested by my fans on stream. I wasn't going to include it, but his training value is so doo-doo, it's basically a nerf. This one's also in the maybe category. We have Hit 6-star. What they did to him was they nerfed his final attack. So back in the day, it used to hit multiple times. However, if we go to the trivia section, this isn't 100% confirmed. It says whether or not his nerf, him not hitting multiple enemies, is a nerf or not, we don't entirely know. All right, so basically his final attack, what's it called? It was called like multiple hitman right here. Basically, it spawns multiple versions of him. There's a little gif here. You see that? It spawns multiple versions. And people thought it used to hit like each one of those did the 45k, but basically we're not sure if they removed that or like it never actually did that, because if it did that, that would be pretty OP. This one we're not 100% sure about. If you guys remember this one, let me know. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know if I missed any nerfs, and let me know which one you are the most sad about. All right, now I do remember they had that weird nerf situation with Uryu getting nerfed, etc., but that only lasted for a few hours, and then they reverted the nerf, so I didn't count that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one, and let's go look forward to the big updates on Friday or sometime this weekend. Let's go, boys.